Welcome to another edition of the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Carl Dubs Cutliff, and joining me in the studios tonight is my guest, San Antonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP, 2010, Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome to the Sports Desk, San Antonio.
Thank you, Carl.
Now, our first time in the BVI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know you came in for the Hoop It Up Foundation, and you're doing an introduction to football with some of our kids. Tell me a little bit of how that's been going for you so far for this week.
It's been fun, getting the opportunity to come out to BVI for the Hoop It Up Foundation and help introduce American football to the Islanders, and the locals, and to teach them a little bit about football. It's been interesting, the guys were a little skeptical about learning the game of football, from our perspective at first. So what we started to do is just let them have fun and, just teach them as they go along, the importance on protecting the football and just running with the football, teaching them how to throw a football. It's all kind of different, and they ask a lot of questions. And one of the questions that I got asked the most is, why is it called football and we can't kick it?
Right.
And it was kind of funny just to answer that question with the kids and just teach them that the game of football in America is just a little bit different than football.
Soccer.
With the soccer here in America, in the BVI. So, but it's been fun though. It's been very fun.
Now, coming in to the islands, when you saw all those islands and mountains and stuff like that, coming to a small island like this, how did it make you feel?
Oh man, it make you feel like you're very important. Came in nice, cool little relaxing drive in. Got his opportunity to just see the different islands, from the top of the toppers of the mountains, here on the island, and it's actually relaxing. I'm very enjoying myself, as much as I can, and enjoying it, especially the locals that are here.
Okay, Steve Parolan and myself, we kind of started this foundation together, and we're actually a basketball foundation, but we've noticed over the years that there are a lot of interest in football. Even when I was teaching in some of the schools, I know there were a lot of kids that was interested in football, so we thought about having a football camp instead of doing the regular stuff that we normally do. And when Steve mentioned your name, I said, San Antonio Holmes, man, why are we going so deep, And he said, we got to try to make a difference, man, and like I said to him, I said, listen, whatever you decide, I'm with you. And I didn't regret having you come here because I see the difference in the eyes of the young ones. I know up to today, when you guys were playing, I see these guys trying to tackle you guys, and you guys are just picking them up and running, That was like a little inspiration for me there. And I'm like, this thing could probably catch on. Now, the problem we have is that we didn't have a lot of greater turnout from the other kids, because I understand that they were in school, a lot of them were in school, and they were doing summer jobs and stuff like that. So hopefully the next time we bring you down, you can have a chance to participate with the bigger kids. But like I said, there's a lot of interest. Now, let me ask you some personal questions. How you got involved in football? Why football?
I began long time ago, and a lot of people may not think it was a long time ago, but started playing ball at the age of 6. Used to sit home and watch, Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, just score touchdowns in the Super Bowl. And I would just sit back in my chair, as relaxed as can be, and it's like, man, how can I do that? What do I have to do that?
Right.
And I fell in love with it. My uncles introduced it to me. They would take me to practice with them. I would sit back and watch, and until I got old enough, I just decided I'd join the team.
I also understood that you ran track and played a little bit of basketball.
Oh yeah, I was quite the athlete back in high school. I was a 4-year letterman in 3 different sports. So
understood you running 47 and a quarter, huh?
Yeah, that was a lot of hard work, man. When I really dedicated myself my junior year to running track and getting more in shape and more involved and taking it more serious, I began to see great improvement, and that's what probably drove me to go beyond being the top athlete over the whole school. I wanted to be the guy that everybody saw that had potential and never look back and say I wish I would have did anything better. And the way that it's going right now, I can only wish for better things to continue happening.
Right.
But I think it's the hard work, the dedication, the sacrifices that I made, you know, whether I wasn't with my family, or I didn't raise up my brothers the right way, or, you know, I just wasn't around for everybody to see, you know, what I've become. It was a business that I had to learn, and in the real world, you have to move fast when it comes down to business.
Now, a receiver. I mean, I guess you like the limelight. That's why you took that part of the game, huh? You were real quick.
Well, for one, I got tired of tackling people when I played defense. It was a lot of pain to just continue hitting somebody almost every play, and I, you know, try to figure out which place that I can play on the football field that gets hit the least.
Right.
And wide receiver worked out for me. I continued to grow, you know, as I got older. I was one of the tallest guys on my little league team.
Oh, okay, because I know you're pretty short.
And a lot of people see me now like, are you really that guy? You know, you don't seem that small on the football field and on TV, but in person, you seem very little. It's the nature of the game. You know, I fit well with my position, and I think I play with a lot of confidence. Don't like to shy away from anything. You know, when the lights come on, you know, put me in front of the camera, coach. I'm ready.
You're ready to go. Now, that window of opportunities for a sport like football, tell me a little bit about that.
It's very small. It's very small. I could say it's a fraternity of only a select few. You know, no matter how good you may think you are, it's a fraternity of very select few. And not a lot of guys, you know, stay, but the ones that do stay, you see the hard work, the effort that they put into the off seasons, you know, the studying, the film study, the classroom work, the weight room. You know, those things drastically improve year in, year out, and they never tend to shy away when it's time to make a big play in any spotlight, and that's what continue, you know, to driving these guys to being great.
Now, with our foundation, which is the Hoop It Up Foundation, we tend to promote a lot of academics. Because we know that you have the talent already, but your academics, how was that for you?
My academics were great. I graduated high school with a 3.5 GPA. I didn't graduate college, but I left college with a 3.1 GPA. So,
and you went straight into the pros?
And yeah, I left my fourth year, didn't finish up school, but that was one thing that I focused on, you know, as a kid. You know, the more you learn, the better you are, the more chances you have for yourself to not look back and regret anything. You know, when you go into school and you're thinking, why are they teaching me this stuff? You know, because you have to grow an interest on something that you love. You know, it doesn't have to be everything that the teacher is teaching you. You can fall in love with one specific subject in school, and that can lead you into being a professor. It can lead you into being an accountant, you know, whatever it may be, if you believe that this work will pay off at some point. And I don't think a lot of people, you know, believe in that. And that was one thing that I believed in, you know, growing up as a kid.
Okay, I know, like you said, your window is small. What about, I mean, you've had the opportunity to work with some of the kids that we had here so far. I mean, these are the smaller ones, but between the middle range, have you seen any kind of potential of people who are other than any of the kids?
I think the guys have a lot of potential, you know. And the one thing that would keep them away from it is if they continue believing that they don't have a chance, you know. The potential is there, but the academics has to follow in line,
right.
You know. And that's what we get graded on as professional athletes, how well we conduct ourselves. Are we on time for meetings? Are we being punctual during classroom, you know, time? And I think all of those things go a long way, and especially being respectful to your elders and the people around you.
Now, we had a conversation earlier, and you were mentioning to me about football is like going back to school. It's like a work. You know, you're going from 9 to 5, so to speak. Run me a little bit through that.
Oh yeah, for you guys that don't know how an NFL life is, well, for me, it's a 9 to 5 job. We wake up every morning about 6:37. Have to be in our meeting rooms on time about 8:15. You know, no later. We don't just go in and practice and go home. A full schedule will be coming into work, having our team meeting about 9:15. Have to have breakfast in between that time. You got meetings from 9:30 to 11. You're on the field at 11:30, 12 o'clock. You're off the field by 2. You're back into the meeting rooms. You have to, for the guys that have to lift weights, during that time, you have your weight room duties before meetings. I probably leave the office every day about 4:30-ish, get home about 6. So it's a full day's work for us. It's not just anything that anybody would think that would be a piece of cake.
Now, you also mentioned about punctuality and being on time and fines for not showing up on time and having a valid excuse. Just run a little bit about that to me.
Oh, yeah. The only valid excuse coach will allow, if you have a flat tire, you need a AAA, but if you don't show up on time for that meeting, you're going to get fined,
Right.
And I think it travels a long way with being punctual from the whole perspective on, are you going to be at the same page at the same time when it's time for the game to be on the line? Are you going to be the guy that's going to false start because earlier you were late for meetings?
Right. The reason I ask that too is because, like I said, in sports around here, and when we tend to have practices, and you said that practice time is about 4 or 5 o'clock, you still have people, they call it island time, showing up around 6 and stuff like that, and we tend to tolerate that without fines and stuff. So I wanted, just you to reiterate a little bit about that so people know. Punctuality is very important. If you're not on time, and like I said, you're at the pro level, if you're not on time, there's a fine for it. Just so people can understand that.
Oh, yeah. You definitely, I think it works hand in hand. The more you're on time, the better someone else has an understanding for how to communicate with you. That's what cell phones are there for.
Right.
If there's a problem that's going to occur at least 45 minutes before ahead of time, just
Right.
make the call. Don't call in 5 minutes, past the hour when you're supposed to be in and say, oh, I got a problem,
Right.
because that's unacceptable in our field. So when you're on time, you have a better understanding on how to prepare yourself, for as the day goes on and how to be, where you need to be at.
Okay, we're gonna jump a little ahead. I just want you to tell me about that Super Bowl, man. I know you were with the Steelers at that time. Now you're with the Jets.
That was probably, one of the greatest moments of my life, especially sports-wise. I got an opportunity to win a national championship in college, but not fully being a part on the field, physically doing, the duties, the dirt stains on your jersey.
So you were the bench boy.
And when I made it to the Super Bowl, all I could think about was, are you going to be prepared
When the time comes.
when the time comes
Right.
to step up? You've been asking for it. You've been wanting to win a game, in the biggest spotlight. Are you ready? And my attitude, everything showed. This is what I've grown to do. I've loved it since I was a kid. A lot of people wouldn't, understand the emotions that run through you during those moments. And leading into the fourth quarter, I think I only had 3 catches, all game.
Right.
And I just went to my quarterback and I looked him in his eyes, and he didn't even look at me, and I told him, I said, whatever you do, I want the ball. Put the ball in my hands. I'm not trying to be selfish from any of my teammates, but
You got this one.
I want the ball. And he never looked at me. All he did was shook his head and shrugged his shoulders. And I just think that connection was felt,
Right.
from there. The first play come out, he was ready to get me the ball. And we're moving down the field. Here's another pass, And it wasn't planned. It just went with the flow of the game. And we were both hitting every step stride for stride.
Okay.
His steps dropped back. He threw the ball where it needed to be. My plant foot was hitting in the dirt, turning around, hands where they're supposed to be, making plays. And we just kept moving the ball down the field. We never blinked an eye until I dropped that pass in the end zone. And that one, it kind of shocked me a little, But I was able to gather myself. Walked back to the huddle, and one of my teammates tapped me and said, Tone, it's cool. You'll catch the next one. I'm like, man, we only got a few seconds left. He ain't throwing me this ball no more.
Yeah.
And then Ben comes running back to the huddle. All right, guys, listen up. And he gives the play call. And I just had a smile on my face. Like, wow, did they really just call this play?
Yep, that's your play.
We had worked on this play since week maybe 16 of the regular season. And up until the Super Bowl, we had never completed that pass in practice.
Wow. You made it happen.
Never completed that pass. And we get in the game, and he calls a play. And as I line up, you know, I put my mouthpiece in, and I just had a big smile. It just started coming. I was like, all right, calm down, you know.
Yeah. Compose yourself. Yeah.
Hut! Play goes. Nobody touches me. I was like, oh, man, we're about to score. We're about to score. And all I do, I look back. I knew I only had a little bit of room left, you know, just from using instincts as a kid, doing these type of things every day, routine in practice, standing by the line, just making sure you just don't fall out, see how much concentration and balance you can put within yourself. And it showed on the biggest stage in the Super Bowl, you know.
No.
The pass couldn't have been any more perfectly thrown than for it to land right in my hands.
And now you're the second youngest MVP to
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It was a shocker to me, you know. Right after the game got over, you know, I was given the MVP award, and one of the first questions were asked, you know, did you realize you're the second youngest guy to win the Super Bowl? And I was like, I'm just happy we won the Super Bowl, you know. And it just felt so great, man. It was overwhelming, you know. At one point, it never sunk in until maybe 2 or 3 days later after the game was over, like that I'm really a Super Bowl champ. Like, this is what I've lived for.
Okay.
Know? Great memories in Pittsburgh.
Well, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. My guest tonight is San Antonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP in 2010. We'll be right back.
Come to Infinite Solutions, your home for Apple iPods and Apple iPads, 32 gig or 64 gig. Enjoy the apps, games, movies, books, and more. Check out our sale on Apple Nano iPods, Nikon Coolpix S3000, and a wide selection of Lenovo and HP notebooks. Check us first, Infinite Solutions. Technically speaking, no problem.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk. I'm your host, again, Carl Dubs Catliff. I'm here with San Antonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP 2010. And we were just talking about a little bit about the game of football and his moments of getting that catch in the Super Bowl. And he was just explaining to me. Now, today I see some of my guys were trying to challenge you in a race. Because the talk was, how fast can you run? And I'm saying, you guys have to know that these football guys are pretty fast when it comes to at least 40 meters, 50 meters, you know. So I know you had a challenge today.
The challenge was fun, man. The guys wanted to get out and test and see that I still have it, you know. I would tell them, you know, I haven't ran the 40 time since coming into the NFL, which was about 6 years ago. So, but I still, you know, I was able to stick up with the guys, you know, 2-track guys that are pretty fast, that, you know, they had a lot to say, but the tape will show it. You know, one day when you guys see this tape, you'll see.
I think we have a clip of that too.
You guys be the judge.
But what piques their interest too is how you train, you prepare yourself for the sport, and I think you were giving them some pointers on how you did that.
One of the main things is just staying focused. You got to give a little bit of extra, whatever it is, you know, to drive you over. Pain, it may hurt, you know, for a little while, but once you're done, it feels good, you know, that you've able to accomplish your goals. You was able to fight through, you know, the little pain that you were suffering from, exhausting, you know, just fatigue, but you were willing to push through it. And that's what it takes to get to the next level. It's giving a little bit extra every time, you know, at any time it's called for, and not being able to or wanting to shy away from it.
Right. Now, we have a couple of guys that plays pickup flag football. And I think one of the most concerned with a lot of people in football is getting hit. Tell me a little about getting hit, man. I mean, one of the toughest hits.
Once you learn to embrace the moment and knowing that an impact is about to occur, you know, just as well as you getting hit hard, sometimes that guy doesn't want to hit you hard, you know. But when you're standing there and you're all, you know, fragile, once those guys get their hands on you and they shoulder pass, you know, it's gonna hurt. But when you're one of those guys that know how to catch the ball
And
You got to feel for where the defenders are and knowing how they're going to tackle you by the position of their body. You can position yourselves to take less contact, to jump away from the guys, and even just outrun them. So you got to learn all these different aspects of the game in order to play fast, have the most fun, and to never play scared.
Quick feet. How important is quick feet and the shuffling?
It's very good for guys that play, specific positions, such as running back and defensive backs, because those guys have to be willing to stop on the dime. With running backs, you got 300-pound guys running, directly at you at the line of scrimmage, and you got to be able to shift your feet and be able to put the feet in and out in the ground and create yardage. So that's definitely one of the most important, things using for those specifics.
Now, would you say height advantage has something to do with being a running back or receiver? Because most guys about your height are a little bigger.
Yeah, but you got guys like Maurice Jones-Drew, who is about 5'7", 5'8", who gets out and plays like he's a 6'2" running back who just has all the strength in the world. And I don't think it really matters. It's how much dedication you're willing to put into it. Do you know the game well? Are you willing to take these hits? Are you going to do the little things extra that coach asks for or even that coach don't ask for, and he just see on film like, I can use this guy as an example, because he's fearless. And when it comes to guys, feeling that they can be overpowered by someone else, they lose everything. Just like if right now, if you were to cut your dreads off, you would feel like you just don't have it all with you.
Exactly.
And building that confidence in yourself is what gets guys to the next level and allow them to play with a lot of confidence.
Now, when a recruiter is looking for pro athletes or whatever, what area of sports do you think they target the most? Track and field? Football, soccer? I mean, soccer, not football. Rugby? Because the rugby guys can take some licks. Yeah. If you ever saw rugby. Yeah, we play rugby around here, and trust me, these guys ain't no joke.
Oh, it's nothing compared to what we do.
And these guys don't wear pads.
And I don't think I could join any rugby league and withstand 1 week of practice, let alone a game, for seeing the physicality and the brutality that these guys use amongst themselves. In America, we play the game a lot smarter. We understand the difficulties in getting hit and breaking bones and tearing cartilage and ligaments, and you try to play the game a lot smarter. You want to entertain people, but you do it at a pace to where we know that this person has to fend for his life,
Mm-hmm.
But you don't play with that kind of sense, but you understand that if something can occur at 1,000 miles per hour, hitting something that's moving 6 miles per hour, then it's a problem. But the guys play, more under control, and they understand, that they have a lot of lives to deal with playing in this sport.
So, in essence, are you saying a good rugby player would be a good defensive player? Or
either defense or a running back, fit the position that allows them to, create a lot of contact. Yeah. Yeah,
because I was thinking for speed and like in your area, you'd probably be looking for guys in the soccer area or the track and field area who's quick.
Oh yeah, but you gotta be able to have hands. Yeah, you can't play in my position without these things.
That's my next question. Do you spray some quick stick on your hands, man? To be running that fast and be able to turn around and catch, you gotta have something on your hands. Tell me, what is it?
Confidence. It's confidence.
So there's no quick gel or glue or anything that's on your hands, right?
I'll tell you guys this. When I was in college and it rained, I would use this different type of stuff. I won't say what it is, but I would use something to my advantage to where I don't drop the ball.
Right.
No one knew, no one cared. They just knew that I could catch really good. When it's raining time, I know what I had to do so that I didn't, look like I didn't know what I was doing out there. And it worked to my advantage. But I think it's a coordination, just like soccer, you have to be great with your feet. The same thing with football, but you use more of your eyes, and I think that's where the focus has to change, and people have to understand that, yeah, we play with our quick feet, but everything that's trained on a football player is more so with hands and eyes. You know, your feet, they move according to how the body moves. But with soccer, you're more controlling only the lower extremities of your body, and that's where your focus and your concentration goes, as opposed to being a football player where your eyes are constantly, you know, being up in the air.
Yeah, you're right. Because now, take me through like a play that, you know, one of those long catches. How you guys tend to go to the spot and be able to catch that ball when it's that time?
It's the routines. It's the routines every day in practice that we do. Just running down.
Because you guys run straight ahead without looking back, and then you try and run when you think that ball is supposed to be there.
And that's what you build. You build the chemistry amongst yourself and the quarterback that, okay, my arm can only throw about 60 yards, but we're going to catch this pass between 25 and 30 yards, and you do the rest on your own. Depending on the coverage, the way the defender is playing you, he has to throw it further. If the defender is tighter, if the defender is off you, he has to throw it shorter, you know, so that we can be able to make the adjustments. And that's just something that you learn as the game goes on and as you build a chemistry between yourself and the quarterback.
Okay, NBA is facing a lockout right now. Take me through that. What you think? Think there's going to be
get the job done. These guys want to play. They see what we're going through right now, and it's no fun. So
are you
done.
seeing that light coming anytime soon?
For the NFL, I'm very well hoping, you know, that everything falls in place within the next few weeks and we get this ball rolling. A lot of guys have been out of work for a while, and I don't think the fans are eager to see a lockout, you know, in the NFL. That's our pride and joy in America right now is watching professional football. And if you take that away from those guys, I think the ratings would really hurt, you know, back in America.
Now I'm going to switch up a bit on you. We're going back into Tortola time now. Now, you've been on the island, 4 or 5 days now. Tell me what you think a little bit about
I love it here, man. I love it here. The people here are very friendly. You know, the language is one thing that I have to, you know, make a big adjustment to. But I'm starting to understand. You know, I listen for little catchphrases and little words that just make sense to me, and I can understand.
No, I know you learned something when you came in, and you've been saying it a lot. So hit me with that one. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, that was one that I learned when I went to the Cayman Islands, man. It was very fun to go out to Cayman Islands and, you know, just enjoy. But being here, you know, the people are very friendly. The fruit, I've been eating all of you guys' fruit, you know, as much as I can get my hands on.
I don't see it like mangoes too.
And just the atmosphere, the water has been wonderful. You know, I got a chance to just swim the beaches almost every day I've been here, and it's very relaxing. Like I said, enjoying the kids. You know, it's been fun. Definitely come back again within these next few years, and hopefully we can continue getting the BVI Hoop It Up Foundation and continue introducing American football to the kids here on the island.
Now, mentoring program. I know we had a conversation with mentoring program, and you were telling me a little bit about what you do.
I have a Dream Foundation, and each letter of Dream has an acronym, and it's discipline, responsibility, education, attitude, and motivation. And myself and my best friend Serge Sincere came up with, you know, an idea to mentor kids. And using those different acronyms is pretty much the way that I carry myself into getting to the next level. The discipline and the responsibility that you're taught as a kid carries over into the attitude that you have that is motivating you, but also it's the education part that ties in between the discipline, the responsibility, the attitude, and the motivation, and that educates you into becoming such a better person. You know, whether you're going to be the one that's always on time, you're going to be the one to do a little extra, you're going to be the one to helping, you know, when it comes down to your teammates, no matter what sport you're playing. Are you willing to just go beyond yourself? And when you learn to educate yourself amongst all these things, everything falls in place.
I know you also mentioned to me that you're doing some work out in Africa.
Oh man, Africa's been wonderful. I visited Gulu, Uganda, I've been to Rwanda and also Ghana. And just traveling to those places, got an opportunity to open my eyes and see that different parts of the world are struggling to communicate. They are struggling to have all of the necessities that we Americans have. And I've started a Hands Up, 10 foundation to help donate clothing, to the countries of Africa and also to a few places over in Haiti. So we're getting that started, and I think it's going to be a great turnout for me.
Well, we here would like to thank you guys. Thank you for coming through. Like I said, you brought a lot of inspiration to a lot of the kids. Like I saw a lot of eyes open up to the sport, and there were a lot of interesting people just on the outside looking in. I mean, we didn't have the opportunity to promote it as much as we wanted to, but I think people now are starting to get the picture that the Hoop It Up Foundation are trying their best, to do good stuff. And I know you said whenever we need you, you could come on back and do some mentoring for us, because I think we do have a problem here, and a lot of our kids just need people like yourself to come through, sit down, explain to them, some of the stuff that goes on, and it's not like a bed of roses or just trying, like you said, trying to get up to the U.S. It's a lot of hard work. So once again, I'd like to thank you for coming through. Steve and myself, I know we've been doing a lot of work, and it's hard work. And we've been, like I said, trying hard to get people to come on board with us. So I'm hoping that through the work that we're doing, people can see the good in it. Like I said, it's all for the youths. It's nothing for us about it, because we did our part already. So we're just trying to give back. So once again, man, I'd like to thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
All right.
Yeah,
if you guys are just tuning in with us, I have my good buddy here now. I can call him my buddy, because we've been hanging out for the past week. San Antonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP, 2010. And he's been just passing through, doing some work for the Hoop It Up Foundation. You guys know it's Steve Powell and myself. We've been trying to do introduction to football. And we also have in the studio with us some coaches for basketball and football. And they're going to be joining us in a few minutes while we get around to that. Like I said, San Antonio, like I said, it's been good. And I know you still got a couple more days left with us, so I hope we're going to give you a break tomorrow. You're going to get a chance to see a little bit more of the islands.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, thanks a lot, man.
Enjoy. Pleasure.
All right, man. Guys, you've been just tuned into Sports Beat. We'll be right back after these messages.
Come to Infinite Solutions, your home for Apple iPods and Apple iPads, 32 gig or 64 gig. Enjoy the apps, games, movies, books, and more. Check out our sale on Apple Nano iPods, Nikon Coolpix S3000, and a wide selection of Lenovo and HP notebooks. Check us first, Infinite Solutions. Technically speaking, no problem.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Carl Dubs Carliff, and joining me in the studios this evening, I have Coach Joe Redmond, no stranger to the BVI. He's been here. And I have Ray Brown. He's the rookie that just came in with Joe. Guys, welcome to the Sports Desk. Welcome to the BVI.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I know, Joe, you've been here before, and you've been working with us before. And we just brought in Ray to start some introduction to football. Now, I know you've been dealing with basketball. You just recently signed one of our basketball players named JR. You guys are there who know JR, national team player. He just signed with East Central University with Coach Redmond right here. Congratulations to him. Coach Redmond, back in the islands again.
Yeah, man, I didn't think it would be this quick. I knew I was going to, after I left last time, I knew I'd want to come back again, but I didn't realize it was going to be this quick. So, but hey, it's good to be here.
Right, and I know you've been working in the hot sun with those kids for a week now. I see you got your color on.
That's right, that's right. That's there's always a hidden factor with Mr. Parallon.
Yeah.
And this time the hidden factor was that the camp was going to be outdoors.
Yeah. Well, actually we didn't plan it that way. It's just that, unfortunate secrets that pop up on us. And
it happens, man. It happens. It's all good. I enjoyed it. It's been a great week and hanging out with those kids again. And, a lot of them knew me from the last camp, obviously. So it was just, like starting back from where we left off and getting rolling. A few new ones, but didn't take them long to get adjusted and get rolling. So been a good week. Enjoyed it.
Okay, now, Coach Ray, this is the first time down for you with an introduction to football. How was the week going for you so far?
Week's going great. Really good. Kids are having a lot of fun. And that's probably the biggest thing. You want them to have fun when they're learning something, especially something that's brand new to them. But I think they're taking on to it very well.
Well, I've had the opportunity to watch you guys out there practicing. I can see definitely those kids are having fun. I think we got some clips about it. We're going to show you guys what you guys do now. For us and Hoop It Up Foundation, we're a basketball foundation, as you know, and we wanted to do an introduction to football because we realized that all other sports are covered except football. Now, bringing you guys down and starting an introduction to football, it kind of piqued some interest. I know there's a lot of kids who are very much interested but didn't really know the sport. Now, you've had the opportunity to work with some of them, and tell me what you saw so far.
I saw a lot of potential. I saw a lot of kids that are very interested and eager to learn, which was the biggest part. I wanted a group of guys that wanted to learn, and it seems like everyone, for the most part, has wanted to learn something different. Everyone, wants to be a quarterback or a receiver,
Exactly.
but that's fine. Just any interest is great, and it's been great to work with this group of kids. So.
Now, what are some of the questions that you were faced from some of these kids when you started to talk about football?
Some of the questions, probably the biggest thing was everyone wanted to be Brett Favre and they wanted to throw the ball. So the biggest thing was how to hold the ball, how to put their fingers on the laces, exactly where they should place their fingers. And the biggest thing was just how to grip the ball.
Now, I say, looking out at you guys, everybody wants to be a quarterback, like you said. Everybody wants to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. But like you said, the first thing was learning how to hold the ball in order to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. I also saw you guys teaching them how to catch the ball and receive the ball at the same time.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about it. Is there a specific way in doing that?
Yes. I usually tell them I'm a big fan of the movie The Little Giants.
Right.
And the kid always saw it as a roll of tissue, and it's a soft ball. You just catch the ball. It's soft. A lot of the kids were afraid of it, and that was the biggest thing. Like, we're not kicking it at you. We're not deliberately trying to beam you with the ball. We're just throwing it up softly. So the biggest thing was just teaching them that it's soft. Just have soft hands and cradle it. So it's not a huge deal.
Now, Coach Redmond, in basketball, I know we basically had you done. You did some work before. What's different now than when you were here the last time?
Well, I think that a big part of what I'm seeing this trip is the fruits of your labor with the 6 guys, 7 now counting
Right.
JR, that have been able to get an opportunity to go to the States this upcoming year. I think some of the younger guys saw that and thought, man, this could really happen.
Right.
And so now they're more into, Coach, what do I need to do? Coach, what should I do here? Or what do you think about this? And I think there's more of an intent. They can see a finish line, so to speak, because of the 7 guys who have been able to secure scholarships in the States for the upcoming year. And so I think before, with most of these kids, it was a dream that, kind of like being a movie star in the States, it's just probably not going to happen. But you can dream about it as a kid. And I think that now that they see people that they've known for their whole lives growing up getting this opportunity, then they can actually see, hey, I can do that. It doesn't, those guys can do it, I can do it. Right. And so now they show up each day with a little bit more intent on what we're doing at the camp and those kinds of things. And so that's really the biggest change from the basketball aspect that I see in the young men out there.
One of the things I can say too to what you're saying also is that a lot of people think that being a basketball player is about height. It's more about skill.
Oh, yeah.
And by you guys drafting the guys that we have, because they're not really big, tall guys, mm-hmm. but the skill is there. It shows the other younger ones, but like you just said, the opportunity is there. If I show up and I practice real hard, that opportunity might be there.
Yeah, and along those lines, I think that the one thing that I would say, and having, Steve Pearline and also Randy George, who played for me at Henderson State, a different school I was at, those guys were hungry.
Right.
They weren't the biggest guys. They weren't the strongest guys. They weren't the best shooters, the best ball handlers, all those things. But they were the hungriest. Every single day when we hit the floor, they brought it. and I know that what that did for me as a coach, and so the things that I'm trying to tell these coaches that are getting these young men that are going over there this year is, hey, I know that I can't say that these guys are exactly like those guys, but one of the best attributes that I had that I can point out in the young men that I had from the British Virgin Islands was just their hunger. And I think you heard Santonio talking about that a little bit, and you guys' speech about you just got to want it, you got to go out and work hard and those kinds of things, and that's what those guys did. And I can see it in these guys that are going over there. I can see it in their eyes how hungry they are to prove themselves over there, and that's a good thing.
Now, I must thank you because you were instrumental in helping us to hook up some of these guys with other schools, and I could say rightfully that this guy right here, he's a part of our foundation. So, so like I said, I'd like to thank you for helping us out and trying to help those guys.
Oh, when Steve called me and told me what he was trying to do, I've got lots of former basketball players who go down different roads than what they're trying to do. But when they decide that they want to do something like this, I'm always there. I always give it a shot, no matter what. If you are trying to give back to your community, give back to kids, give back to a certain school, those kinds of things. If there's a way that I can help, I will. And I jumped at the chance to come down here, and I had no preconceived ideas of what I was going to do. I just said, hey, I'm going to go down with an open mind and see what Steve is up to, and if I can help, I'm going to help. And finding a place for guys to play college basketball is something I can definitely help with. And, I'm here for you guys. As long as you need me, I'll be willing to help you. Whether, it's great to come down here and run the camps and do those kinds of things, but I'm available on the phone overseas, and I'll do everything I can to help you.
Now, Coach Brown, that was a good speech that you just made. So I'm hoping that when it's your turn to call you, I can hear the same thing from you.
Oh yes, definitely. I think there are a lot of kids who are actually showing interest, want to learn the different ways we train, or just any questions. And I'm happy to help with anything I can. I told a couple of guys I'll give them my email address and they can contact me. I'll give them different workouts and anything I can possibly get to help them out.
When I had Santonio up here a little earlier, and I was asking him the same question. When you guys are recruiting, what area of sport are you guys looking for people from? What is track and field, soccer, rugby? What's the best area for recruiting for you guys?
It just varies from position to position. It really depends on what you're actually looking for.
Yeah, but run me through that. If you're looking for somebody,
if I'm looking for a receiver, yes, I would look towards a track guy because I like track guys, and I want a guy who can go deep and stretch the field. But as he said earlier, they also have to have hands.
Right.
I haven't ventured out much with other sports. I've kind of stuck to football. But I think this experience here has opened my eyes to different things. So I'm definitely more open to looking out in other areas trying to find players.
Because when we were doing our introduction to the sports, we look at size. We said, because everybody's not able to play basketball. So we looked at football and we said, well, we saw some of the bigger guys. And we said, those guys can move. They're quick. They're big. We think they can be a good football player. So that's why we got the notion to say, well, hey, let's try American football. So now that's why I asked you the question. If you see a big, sturdy guy, quick on his feet, would that be like a potential?
Yes, definitely.
But if he doesn't have any skill in football and you recruit at this level, it's a problem because then you'd have to go back to basics.
You could teach them skill. You always want a guy that you can mold that has the potential to be a player. You can't always look, especially for Division II, you can't always look to the guy that already has the potential or the skill set. You just have to look for guys who have the potential to be molded into a player. They have raw talent, but it's untapped, and they haven't been coached properly. So you always look for that guy that you can possibly mold. I know for sure I do. I don't find any guy that's just that guy right now. Every guy has to go through the proper steps to become that guy for us.
Now, like I said, we're now starting introduction to football. Now, where as a foundation, what do you think, what are the steps that you think we need to do now that we have started this era? What's the next move for us in trying to maintain something like this? What should we be looking for, in order to move forward to the next step?
in order to move forward to the next step, I mean, you have the guys that are interested. The biggest thing would be coaching. So you'll need people around the community that would actually be able to help coach a team. And then, of course, getting other guys like Santonio, myself, or other coaches that can actually come down and just give seminars on how to play the game.
Right.
Different videos, and that way we can show it to the coaches, and the coaches go back and show it to the players. It's probably the easiest thing. I mean, we do coaching conventions in the States, and they teach you different ways, different methods, and that's probably the easiest way because you can take it back. You can take what you like from each coach and then go back and mold it for yourself and your own team, and then break it down to your team.
Now, I know also in the U.S. you guys start football from an early age. How young is that?
We started at 6. I actually started at 6 myself.
That sounds like San Antonio, man.
and 6 it's great. It sounds good. It's really good to go
So
back.
at 6 years, you guys pad up?
Yeah, 6-year-olds, you pad up. And it's great to go back to school and say, hey, I play football or wear the jersey, but I'll be the first to admit I was the first one to cry every time I got hit. And it was just something you just had to get used to. I mean, I don't think you really can get used to it, but you grow and you mature, and then you kind of expect it. You know what to expect.
So no, let me ask you. At 6 years, you guys were just having fun trying to run up and down trying to catch a ball. It wasn't really structured, was it?
It was pretty structured. I mean, your coach, we had a coach and he gave us plays, though a lot of the kids don't learn all the plays. We try and implement as many plays as possible, and we kind of ran with it. But it's not as structured as the college or high school or NFL levels. No.
So now, how does the age range go for football? Is it 6 to something?
Yeah, it's usually 6 and 7, 8 and 9, 9 and 10, and it goes up just depending on your birthday.
Oh, okay.
Your birthday.
So you start as young as 6, and
Yes.
and you just work your way up.
Yes.
Okay. Now that's interesting. For those of you folks who are joining us, with me is Coach Ray Brown from the East Central University, and I have Joe Redmond in basketball. And Coach Brown was just explaining to us at age 6 you can start playing football. And we at the Hoop It Up Foundation, like I said, we're just doing an introduction to this, so you can look for us trying to get some more information and some more coaching and stuff done in the football arena. So when Joe Brown come back the next time, sorry, Ray Brown, right?
Yeah.
Ray Brown. It sounds like one of those Hollywood names. When he comes back, he can see a lot more development in what we have, because for sure we're gonna try to get some more knowledge and history about the game, see if we can get a lot more interest peaked in it. So hopefully when you get back, I saw, like I said, when you guys are there training, I saw you picking up some of those folks and having fun. I see them, wrestling you and throwing you to the ground. So it seems like you've been having some fun for this week.
Oh, yes. I've had tons of fun. I've got a great group of kids, very energetic, and they love to fight. They love to wrestle. And that's why I definitely think football would be a great sport for the kids here.
No, I also saw when they scored a touchdown, you had them doing the dance and stuff.
Oh, yeah. You got to have fun with it. I definitely think you should be able to have fun with it.
Now, Coach Redmond, tell me about this guy, Steve Powell. He played for you, and I know you had Chino. Just give me a quick synopsis of this guy, Steve Powell, so people will know.
Well, you guys have been around us enough now when we're together to know that we can, push each other's buttons and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of old stories that we like to rehash that I'm sorry you have to hear over and over again. But, Steve was, I can say a couple of different things about him. He may have been the most mentally challenging player for me. When he played for me, I was a very young head coach. I wasn't 30 yet. And his basketball IQ and his mindset and his approach to things were a little bit more advanced than what the typical 19 to 22-year-old college basketball player is. And that was a challenge for me. But the one thing that we did share was a passion for the game and just the desire to win. And so we were able to get on the same page, and once we did, we really clicked. And that's why we can have the type of relationship that we have now. But it's kind of funny. The old guys, all those guys that were on those teams, they get together and they think that Steve was a thorn in your side and that kind of thing. And I said this earlier in an interview. The 2 or 3 bad days that I had with Steve over a 2-year period pales in comparison to all the great times that we had, and I think that that's one thing that you can take from Steve Parlon is once you get past those rough edges around him, he's a heck of a guy. He's a heck of a guy. And he's fun to be around.
I put up with that.
Sure. And I see it. We joke about. In fact, we joke about it a little bit. Just shrug your shoulders and say that's Steve, and you keep your eye focused on the prize, the long range goal, because in the end, that's what he's focused on too. He just he can get himself sidetracked a little bit, but that, like I said, that's Steve. He wouldn't be the guy that he is without that. And I tell you, I couldn't be more proud of him. When I went back the last time and I talked to a few guys and I was down in British Virgin Islands. What are you doing down there? Well, I went down there with Steve. Well, what'd he do? And so I started telling them about your foundation and they're like, Steve? And I said, yeah, Steve. And I said, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, it's rolling and everybody is just in awe and they keep waiting for the punchline. And I said, no, it's going.
I tell you, a lot of people have the misconception of Steve. Steve is a go-getter, but he wants to go get it when he wants to go get it. So if you don't understand when Steve wants to go get it, it's a problem for you.
That's a very good way to put it. Yes.
And I think we have our differences because he likes to go, and I'm the one that's try to keep him in check. I said, Steve, you can go, but you have to do it this way. And
right.
When he doesn't get it that way, he's on everybody's case. Everybody's want to just kill this guy.
Yeah.
But he's a real good guy. He has, great ideas, and that's why I stick with him, because when we really sit down, we can argue. And when we're finishing argue, we could go get some breakfast or something. When you sit down with him, he's just somebody that wants you to understand him.
Yeah.
And through the foundation that we're dealing with right now, like I say, he's making great strides. I give him all the kudos for, doing his thing. I'm just here to assist.
Yeah. Well.
Whatever he wants me to do, I do it.
Sure, he's working hard, and I think that, watching him try to help these young men get their paperwork in order and, their plane tickets and transcripts and visas and I-20s and all of those things and get them organized. And, I like to sit back and laugh, and I want him to, understand that, you remember when I was having to spend that extra hour on you every day, but I had 15 other players,
right.
It's payback. It's always payback. But, now you can understand. But I tell you, I couldn't be more proud of what he's doing and what you're doing to help him and those things. And I think that it's really about to blossom for you. I can just feel it. I can see it with the young men who are starting to buy into you and the people on the periphery, I'd say, that are going to be willing to help you a little bit more in the future. I think it's going to go in the right direction for you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'd like to thank you guys for coming through and sharing your, little insight on what we're doing right here. Because, like I said, it's something that's a passion for us. We're very sport people. I mean, I'm rounded in a different sport. Steve is more basketball, but we tend to have great ideas. So, I appreciate you guys for coming. Like I said, you're already a part of our foundation, so I'm trying to hook in Brown. So I'm hoping that he gets a punchline.
Let me just say, you mentioned earlier that there was nothing in it for you, and that's exactly right. If I'm part of the foundation, let me just say that it's about the kids. There's nothing in it for anybody else.
That's right, that's right. That's right. Once again, guys, like I said, if you just tuned in with us, I had Coach Redmond from East Central, and we had Coach Brown also from the same school, football and basketball. They're the two guys that was instrumental in joining us at the Hoop It Up Foundation and making a summer camp a lot progressive and made it possible for us. And we'd like to thank them for coming through again. We also had earlier Santonio Holmes, NFL Super Bowl MVP. He was also here joining us, and I'd like to thank him also for coming through and helping us. And this has been another edition of Sports Desk. I'm your host again. It's been nice talking to you guys tonight. And like I said, you're going to see us next week. Have a good one.